Two plane loads of Palestinian refugees from Gaza have arrived in Johannesburg over the last month. Now, some South Africans are not happy that refugees have been dumped into their country. So is South Africa turning against Palestine? Let's take a look. So let's unpack what's been happening. And at the end of the video, I have a request, so please stay tuned till the end of the video. So what's happened? A shady organization called Al-Majd, run by somebody called Tom Lind, supposedly based in Sheikh Jarrah in Jerusalem, has expelled 200 plus Palestinian refugees from Gaza into South Africa. Now, they didn't follow proper procedure, they don't have proper documentation, and they have no way of going back to Palestine. And in effect, they have been dumped in South Africa for South Africa to deal with this problem.
Well, we have a few more details now, including a document which France 24 has been allowed to see exclusively that appears to show an Israeli tie to this flight that you're mentioning just at the end of last week. Now, let's just say this was not the first such flight. Several Israeli media have reported today ties to extreme right-wing Israeli elements. I have been told by one source of ties to actually a billionaire supporter of Prime Minister Netanyahu behind some of these flights. It does appear that there are right-wing Israeli elements behind this very murky organization called Al-Majd that doesn't really seem to have any existence in South Africa, a very, very pro-Palestinian country. There's pressure to make sure that they are not participating somehow in the removal of mass removal of Gazans from Gaza.
So why has this happened? Now, it's no secret that it is Zionist policy to ethnically cleanse Palestine, beginning with Gaza. And they have mentioned this on a number of occasions that they wish to expel the Palestinians willingly or unwillingly from Gaza and the West Bank so they can have the whole of the land for themselves.
He told Israel's Army Radio, "We must encourage the residents of Gaza to emigrate as they live in hardship and poverty."
So the question arises, why did they choose South Africa to send the Palestinian refugees to? It seems that the people in America and Western Europe no longer buy the propaganda and lies of the Zionists, and the support that they once had in these heartlands has dissipated. With international bodies and international personalities becoming more vociferous against the Zionists, they are becoming desperate. So as a desperate measure, the Zionists have embarked upon a new approach to try and deflect the criticism they are getting. And what is not up for debate is that the narrative which the Zionists once controlled is no longer under their control. So the Zionists have not only lost control of the narrative, they have lost hope of even controlling it, hence this new approach. For example, New York has traditionally been a strong supporter of Zionism and the Zionist colony that exists in Palestine. Yet they elected a mayor who ran on an anti-Zionist ticket. And the billionaire Zionists and the Republican Party and even elements of the Democratic Party and all other factions who support the Zionists all came together to try and defeat Mamdani, yet he won. Congressmen in America now openly saying that they will not take AIPAC money. This is unheard of. The US right wing has openly unfriended the Zionist colony. People like Tucker Carlson, people like Candace Owen and other well-known personalities on the right wing in America have publicly unfriended the Zionist colony and are now accusing them of being involved in 9/11, accusing them of killing Kennedy, and also accusing them of deliberately attacking the USS Liberty ship in 1967, killing 34 American crew members. So because the Zionists have lost the narrative and are incapable and unable to convince people of their argument, they have now taken upon a very vindictive and malicious approach to cause division and hatred amongst those people who oppose them. So they start to fight amongst themselves rather than fighting and arguing against the Zionist colony and Zionism. So the British people have been at the forefront of marches and demonstrations against the Zionist colony, against the genocide, and against Zionism as a whole. So what they have done is they have supported and financed and funded extreme right-wing people like Tommy Robinson and others to create Islamophobia, to deflect from Zionism and to create hatred in Britain. So the British people are preoccupied with fighting amongst themselves rather than highlighting the crimes and the genocide that the Zionists are committing. So South Africa as well has been very prominent in the international arena in its opposition against the Zionist colony. They went to the ICJ and raised the concerns about the genocide taking place in Gaza. And because of this, the vindictive, malicious Zionist politicians have decided to dump refugees in South Africa in order to cause dispute amongst its people. So instead of pointing a finger at the Zionists and attacking them, the people in South Africa are consumed with internal disputes amongst themselves. And it's because of this that South Africa has received the refugees. This is why 2 plane loads of refugees have arrived in South Africa. So these are the desperate, vindictive and malicious methods the Zionists are using, and they are fooling no one. Zionism is fast running out of road, out of time, out of hope and out of supporters. And it will indeed soon be consigned to the dustbin of history. So we Muslims need to shape the future. We need to recreate the only political model that has existed in that land that created harmony amongst different people. Liberalism has failed, the West has failed, the Crusaders have failed, the Zionists have failed, and only the Muslims have the model to create stability and peace in that region, and it is our duty to shape the future. At the beginning of the video, I said I had a request, and that is that I hope you subscribe to another channel which is done by a friend of mine, Sharif, which is called Political Alchemy. They produce far more content, far more regularly, and it's far more up to date. So I recommend that you all subscribe to that channel. Thank you.